about that. Liverpool concede 5 goals at home in a European match for the very first time, and 5 in a row, Liam. Like, can you just put into context what we've witnessed here?
We've witnessed the European champions, the best team in Europe, outclass Liverpool. Liverpool against Naples, Dara, in the first qualifying game, I think they lost 3-0. And I think I said that night, the bubbles burst. Liverpool have been a great team under Jurgen Klopp over the last 4 years. They've been absolutely brilliant. But something's gone dramatically wrong. They just don't defend, and they haven't got legs in midfield. And Madrid, organised by this guy here in the middle of the park, just ran all over them. Fabinho was awful. He was like an old man of my age playing tonight.
Stephen?
Yeah, I agree. You felt that, like, the intensity they showed for the first 25, 30 minutes, and they came out and really went at it. Could they sustain those levels? And they just couldn't. As soon as Real Madrid got that third goal, the dominance in the middle of the park was unbelievable. And you're talking about, it's not young legs, it's just a player that's at the peak of his performance always. In Modric, Camavinga and then Valverde, they ran all over them in the middle of the park. And defensively, the goals they gave up, set play, terrible defender. We'll show it later, but I can't understand the concept behind how they defended it. And Vinicius Jr. just always an outlet, always wanting to get in the ball, always want to drive them forward, exploiting the weakness that is Trent Alexander-Arnold in the defensive. He put in some sensational crosses for Liverpool in the forward areas, but that Trent behind him was always there. And it was just a Liverpool team that were lacking legs and intensity in the second half, and that's where they fall apart, because if Liverpool are not full high energy, they're not the team that they were.
Because, like, Liam, you go back to the final in Paris, 9 months ago? And, like, on another night, Courtois has one of the games of his life and Real win. But on another night, Liverpool could have won with all the chances they created. So what in that period of time has changed so dramatically?
Well, I don't think Van Dijk has ever recovered from that injury properly from Pickford. You know him from Pickford?
Yeah.
I think he ruptured his knee ligaments. I don't think he's recovered.
Yeah.
Trent Alexander, Klopp hasn't got a grip of his defending. You know, it's been so evident over the last 2 years. Thiago wasn't the answer in midfield. They bought him. I know he wasn't playing tonight, but they brought him in when Wijnaldum went, but he hasn't replaced Wijnaldum. And Mane leaving was a big miss as well. So you put all those things together, and I think that's where the bubble has burst.
You have a hit list there.
I have a hit list, yeah. If I had my glasses, I could read the other one.
You remember them all?
You know, all the contractual business with Salah, I don't think that helped. And my last point is the club for sale?
Well, they're saying yesterday, John Henry said
that doesn't help, though.
Yeah, I know. Well, that would,
all that speculation, it unsettles everybody.
I think they're saying investment now, but
and they're fragile. You can tell that they're fragile.
But they need investment.
Is this the end of this team? Like, listen, I'm clutching at straws here on behalf of Liverpool fans, but you know, the massive comeback against Barcelona, that was in Anfield.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to Real now. Yeah. Real haven't lost at home this season, and as much as Liverpool are defined by so many other things, European Cup successes, Real Madrid is like 14 of the things they've won.
Oh no, listen,
they're just defined by it.
They're the juggernaut of European football. This is their competition, and to come to Anfield, and we talked about beforehand, the atmosphere, how hard it is, how special nights it can be there. It didn't faze them at all, like not in the slightest. And you could see the young lad Stefan Besiktas, he tried to end the game, and there was parts of it that he struggled in. He tried to get on the ball, and there was moments, but in and around those players where you get punished for the smallest of errors, and you don't have the people in around you to drag you through those moments, that was huge. And I just think for Liverpool, it's an uphill struggle. Will they get in the Champions League and the Premier League? Possibly. Can they get there? It's true, other teams falling off, but Real Madrid put on a show.
They have a run of Palace, Wolves, Man United next 3, and one other game as well before they play Real in 3 weeks' time in Madrid. We've a lot to look at. If you're a Liverpool fan, you've probably turned off at this stage, and I wouldn't blame you. It was not a night to remember for Liverpool. Field 2-0 up after 14 minutes, and then they concede 5 goals without reply, and it's just been a sensational night for Real Madrid. Some performance, and like, I suppose, Stephen, you know, Real are 8 points behind Barcelona in the league. They've lost 3 times since the turn of the year, or since the end of the World Cup anyway. 13 players in that competition. I know Liverpool had loads. How are they able to just do that in this competition? And have they humiliated Liverpool tonight?
I think they have the second half, definitely, with the performance. And I think so many Liverpool players look so off in that second half. First half, energy, tenacity, Liverpool of old, kind of. Second half, nowhere near it, and Real Madrid just dominated from start to finish. But I think they do it because they feel this is their competition. I think they know that when they go out there on this stage, even look at their record in La Liga, they've only won it 4 times in the last so many years. It's not been constant league titles, but it's constant Champions League titles for them.
They'd rather this.
They'd rather it all the time. This is what they preference, and this is what these players know how to win. So it was just another stunning night for Real Madrid.
Yeah, it really was. You mentioned beforehand, Liam, about the amount of chances that Liverpool gave up against Newcastle, 10-man Newcastle, in the second half at the weekend.
Yeah, I watched it, and that's why I was frightened for them tonight. Yeah. That's why I thought there'd be lots of goals, even though Real Madrid were playing away from home. Real Madrid have no fear about going any place, really. And I know Anfield generates that kind of atmosphere, but they'll go and play their own game. But, against Newcastle could have scored 3 or 4 times from corner kicks. And I think the organisation is just not there. There's no talking in the Liverpool defence. And I think Stephen's going to describe the third goal that Madrid... And that's a killer if you're at home,
Yeah.
From 2-0 up, you go 3
deep to because it just don't come about that often. But I think when it happens on the pitch, you have someone like Van Dijk who we're used to seeing in games, organising, dictating. Get someone to come off the line. Don't all stand in beside each other. Yeah. Someone step out and then go win that ball. He's made a simple run across the whole 6 of them, not being marked, and they've all just put their hands up as if it's not my man. He's gone and headed in.
Trent Alexander was marking him on the back post. And I doubt if he said a word when he moved away from him. He didn't say he's coming, pick him up, nothing. He just
But that in itself is surprising. You saw Henderson's reaction there as well. You'd hear him barking out at players. And I know during COVID we could hear absolutely everything, sometimes a bit too much. But they are Henderson's a big communicator, isn't he?
They're not on it anymore, Dara. You can you can see them go under. It's not like Liverpool of a year ago or 2 years ago. Look, don't get me wrong. I love watching Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp. For me, they've been the best watch over the last 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
But they've just disintegrated now. There's no real team spirit. They go under. We'll see from the goal, you're going to see the young lad gets done on a 1-2. And then Fabinho, who is supposed to be your defensive midfield player, he gets done on a 1-2 as well. Just can't have that against this quality.
No. Let's have a look at that goal, and you'll be able to see for yourselves at home what Liam is referring to.
Yeah, comes in, Rodrigo wins it here, Stefan Bajcetic loses the ball, gets out, kind of ambles out, and then Fabinho does the same, ambles out to Rodrigo, plays a little 1-2 at Benzema, who comes inside. It's a tame left-footed effort and takes a deflection off Gomez, but it's this first 1-2, second 1-2, getting done by that and no reaction, but then it's the back
Watch
four.
Fabinho here, watch.
He strolls out.
He's supposed to be... If he's facing up to somebody, Dara, and he plays the ball in behind, that's someone else's problem.
Yeah.
You stay with Benzema. You block him. You stay with him. What's he doing? He's just gone, where's that ball gone?
Yeah, I know.
Bump, Benzema's in. It's in the back of the net. And he's supposed to be an experienced player. I felt sorry for the boy, Bajcetic. I thought he worked really hard, he tried hard, but Fabinho gave him no help whatsoever.
Then we're going to look at, the Benzema, they gave the goal to Benzema at the end, of course they did, but Modric's build-up play in this with Vinicius Junior, and you're talking about an 18-year-old, this fella's 37.
I've asked him to pause it where Modric is, he's there, he's helping his defence out, and he's ready if Fabinho makes a mistake, and he's on to him, and he just bursts away from him, and he gives the ball at the right time to Vinicius, and this fella, he's cool as a cucumber. You give him these chances, he takes them. But Modric, fantastic. But Fabinho, I'm sorry, he's just had a nightmare tonight, and he's such an important player in the team. To be a defensive midfield player against the likes of this team, he's got to be really on his game. and he wasn't non-existent
I
tonight.
think the thing is for Fabinho as well is that at the age he is, he's 29, that should be probably, as a defensive midfield player, is probably the peak of your powers, because you're reading his situations. You don't go flying into this. You should be able to be a player that sets himself up and knows exactly the job he has to do, but everything's laboured at the moment, and I don't know whether he just can't get out of it. But like, Modric has 10 years in him. And
Klopp must know, Stephen.
Yeah, he has to know,
he's not, like against Brighton a few weeks ago, he should have been sent off for a late tackle because he's not getting near the ball.
Yeah.
Against Newcastle, he was booked with another late tackle. You know, he's not getting there anymore. He hasn't got the legs. And I don't know what's going to happen at Liverpool now, whether they're going to invest money, whether the club's up for sale. I don't know. If the club's up for sale, they're not going to be buying players. But that's the area they really need to address, is that midfield.
And I suppose then you have to ask questions of, like, why, for example, OK, they got Nunez, spent a lot of money on him in the summer. Then Gakpo comes up. Like, they didn't need another attacker, surely. They needed somebody to play in the middle of the field.
Yeah, because Henderson and Milner are getting on. You know, they haven't got the same legs as they had before, which is understandable.
Yes.
They've been brilliant for Liverpool. And Fabinho's been a great player for Liverpool, don't get me wrong. But that's the area that Klopp should have addressed, but he hasn't. He went for Nunez, he went for Gakpo, and it's the midfield that's... And he's put kids in, and
Elias, that Bajicic,
but they need someone in there with them, don't they, to bring them on, and the players around them are not doing that with them. I don't think they're helping them out.
Liam, you know, bigger picture, like, does this derail their top four hopes? Palace away on the weekend is a tough place to go on Saturday night, always.
Yeah, it was a big ask, you know. It didn't look as if there was a lot of fire in their bellies in that second half. They were kind of resigned to it. OK, as Jordan Henderson said, they can regather themselves now and try and come out and get pushing up the league, because the last couple of results in the league have given them a chance to get into that top four. But, you know, they're a long way off the Liverpool of last year and the last few years.
Which, you know, supposed to be more specific, like the morale, the mood, the confidence. OK, they'll get some players back, Kanate, these kind of, you know, Thiago, Diaz, you know, players are coming back and they have had a lot of injuries. But, like, to that group, like, Henderson gave a very honest interview there, as he always does. But, like, talking about the first half all the time, there was another 45 minutes and they got torn asunder. Oh,
like I said, they conceded 5 goals without reply in that game against Madrid. And it's Real Madrid. You know, you don't come up against this every week, even in the Premier League. But there's a sense of fragility about them, isn't there? That they don't seem to be as resolute as what they have been before, and that ability to bounce back from situations, you feel it's not the same. And when they go to the game now at Palace the weekend, Palace will sense a chance to be able to get at them and score against them and feel like we can cause these problems with the players they have, and Elise and Zaha and people that cause you danger. So every team now senses there's blood in the water and Liverpool can be got at, and I think it's different to what it was before. Are they capable of beating teams? Absolutely. Do they have the strength in numbers and the players they have in attacking players like Gakpo, first half Nunez, first half Salah, first half, all put on a decent show, but it's what's backing them up, and I think that's what's lacking. Yeah,
they're not going to be playing Real Madrid every week. What about fatigue with the bigger group? I was looking, the London Times they had some numbers today. Since August of 2021, including today, Liverpool have played the most games of any of the clubs of the top 5 leagues in Europe. That was game 98 today. Now, Real are 4th. That was game 93. Like, you know, I know they don't play every game, but the numbers are staggering, and the pressure that's on those players.
And they have been depleted with injuries, you know, so there are some genuine excuses. But, you know, we've got to analyse things.
Indeed.
And, you know, I've gone back to Fabinho. He's supposed to be your defensive midfield player. When he's getting caught on a 1-2 like that, means he's not thinking, he's not on his game, and letting everybody down.
The phrase I suppose I've heard people say about him who support Liverpool is that a yard of pace has gone, and it's been gone for a while. Yeah,
it has been gone for a while. And I think when you look at all the injuries they've had and the players that are missing, and it's when you think, do they come back in? Do they greatly enhance their chance of winning games? And you still think that they're still lacking something in that middle of the park, which I think is something that's been probably highlighted for a while. What they did last season, and the mental fatigue they must have felt to have gone so close to doing something no one else has done, and to miss out on that, like that has to have a huge impact on you. And they're starting to get back into rhythm in the Premier League, winning 2 games on the bounce, signing players that have scored goals for them. Nunez looking like a threat again. But they still look like there's a bit missing in that engine room, which is, I think, what's driven them. And like Liam said, that middle of the park has drove them for so many games in the high press and the energy and protecting their back four and allowing their full-backs to go forward and be a threat. Whereas those full-backs now have to defend and stay back a little bit more, because when they get isolated, they concede.
And off the field, it's not right, Darren.
Yeah.
You know, when the club's up for sale. I think that unsettles the manager, unsettles the staff, and settles the playing
staff
as well.
Look, I keep saying that he said yesterday in Boston, John W. Henry said yesterday that the club is not for sale. We are looking for investment. But this is, we're not going to sell the thing. But